Throughout the month, we're trying to highlight former Black players or coaches that have come through Iowa or have like that Iowa connection. So with you having managed in 2008 and winning manager, PCL Manager of the Year that year and everything, we thought it would be awesome to touch base with you and just kind of talk to you about what the month means to you with Black History Month, and then specifically like Jackie Robinson Day and just kind of all of that. So I guess we'll just start there. But Black History Month, month of February, we're trying to highlight what that means to different players and coaches and everything. So what does the month mean to you, and how can we kind of raise awareness in your eyes?
Well, it really touches home with me because my grandfather played in the Negro Leagues, so it really touches home because I grew up next door to my grandfather, and to hear the stories about his barnstorming days and um, just the inability to play in the major leagues for the group um, traveling the country. Whether or not you were talented enough, you weren't allowed to play there just based on the color of your skin. He told me stories about having to stay in separate hotels, not being able to eat in certain restaurants. I grew up with that. It was part of my life growing up in Louisiana. So it means a lot because the doors have been opened, and so many of us have walked through those doors and made careers out of baseball now. So it really means a lot.
Yeah, that's awesome. You kind of obviously mentioned your grandfather, but who were kind of people you looked up to as your path coming through playing and then also coaching as well, like mentors you had, just people that you could look up to along your career, I guess.
Yeah, well, obviously growing up and watching Hank Aaron break the home run record, that was a big day in our house. Uh, so he was always probably the biggest hero I've had. And then from my coaching days or playing days, to have Mike Easler as a hitting coach and Ron Jackson as a hitting coach, Lamar Johnson as a hitting coach, and you know um, Gene Clines, who was part of the Pittsburgh Pirates team when they fielded 9 black players. So it really hits home, and it's really sentimental for me. But those were my heroes growing up, and back in the day when I grew up, and you turn on an MLB game, you were going to see 6 to 8 black players playing, and you just don't see that anymore. There's teams out there with zero. There was zero in the World Series. You know, Dusty was the only one on the field, and it's kind of an eye opener because you know I remember growing up and seeing Joe Morgan and Dan Dreesen with the Big Red Machine and George Foster and just Vita Blue. Just the TV was full of players, and we all felt like we could do that back then growing up. And just to look at the television now and not see that, it kind of stings a little bit.
Yeah, what do you think? Is there something like, is there a reason for that, do you think, or are there barriers in place now that are holding people back from playing, or what do you think the reasoning for that is, or do you have an answer, I guess?
I wish I had the answer. I think it's become such an expensive sport that it's hard to get equipment. Number one, it's hard to get seen. Basketball and football, you take one football out there and you can start a game. In baseball, you got to get together some bats and balls and gloves, and they're hard to come by. You got to have baseball shoes. Not like you can have a pair of basketball shoes and they're your everyday shoes that you wear to class every day. You got baseball shoes. So I think it's become a sport that has priced itself out of being able to afford it.
Yeah, and then I guess just for closing thoughts, what do you, if anything, what can we kind of get out on our end with the platform that we have? Is there any kind of words or anything you'd like us to spread, not only for this month, but just in general, so we can start to see more African American athletes or on the field playing and coaching and everywhere around the game? Is there anything we can kind of get out that you try and spread to the Phillies and whatever else whatever other connections you have?
I just think that we have to enforce the fact that there are careers in baseball for people, for African Americans, for people like us, and there are great careers. Dusty Baker is made. He's a legend. He's a hero in the eyes of many players because of what he's been able to do as a player and a manager and a mentor. He's mentored so many kids and so many players, black and white. But I think we just need to get it out there that we're here. We can play the game. We can teach the game. We can coach the game. We can manage the game. And I know baseball, it's a business, and the business seems to have gone to the islands, to the Dominican Republic, to Venezuela, to Mexico, to Puerto Rico. But we got a lot of homegrown talent here that I think we really get overlooked. And just to be able to tell the scouts out there that there's players, there's black players, and you just got to go find them. I'm from a small town in Louisiana, and I guess you could say I beat the odds. I mean, who would have thought that coming from a small town in Louisiana, you can make it all the way to the major leagues? But I did it, and I know it can be done. So I think we just need to spread the word that there's players in small towns and small southern towns, and you can make it. You can make a career out of it.
Yeah, that's great. Well, like I said, I don't want to take too much of your time, but I really do appreciate you hopping on and talking to us about this. And hopefully, like you said, we can spread that word, and every little bit helps. So we're trying to do our part this month and focus on that. But we really appreciate you hopping on and taking the time out of your busy schedule to talk to us. So thank you
very much, and make sure you tell all the people in Des Moines I said hello. It was a great 6 years I had there, and I'll never forget it. From the Michael Gardners to the Sam Burnabys to the Judas Esses, it's just good people there, and I had a blast there, and it's really a big part of my career. So
sure,
thank you.
Sam said to tell you hey, so he was gonna pop in. He said and say hey. He's asking when it was and stuff. So I think he might be caught up in a meeting, but he said to tell you hi and hope all is well. So
tell him to be expecting a phone call from me very soon.
Okay, I will. Sounds good.